Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how I take apart a deer. Now we've shot this deer, and it's just basically how to get it up or over that bump back down to the truck. So I like to tow deer downhill, but we found this deer on the other side of the hill, so we'll have to pack him up and over. So we're going to break him down into a couple pack loads, and I'll show you how to do that. And I'm just tuning up my knife because it's going to be going to need a nice sharp blade for most of this work. Okay, so we're going to get started on this deer, and we're going to try and want to break him down into manageable sized pieces for our backpacks loads. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run my finger and knock his legs off. And how I do that, I'm going to run my finger up from his toes. I'm going to find, if I go, there's a couple of bumps right here. I go to the top of the first bump. I'm going to run my knife right across the top of it and all the way around. And if I've done it right, it should just knock off like that. The fronts are a little easier. Run my thumb up from the bottom. There's a couple of bumps up here to the top of the first bump. And you're going to run your knife right over the top of that first bump. And then all the way around. And if I got it right, it should pop off, and I didn't get it right. Top of the first bump. There it is. Now you can do this on a moose or an elk, same principle. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is get the one side started, and run my along his knee, and I'm always cutting from the skin out as I go. Here somewhere. Now I have to leave evidence of species and sex on this animal, so I have to leave a little patch of hair. So I try and do that right off the bat so I don't forget about doing it later. So it has to be 6 centimeters squared, so a couple centimeters by 3 centimeters is 6 centimeters squared. So I leave it right at the top, and then I'll carry on just So once I've left my evidence of species on here, I'm going to start working my way towards the center. I'm going to skin all this back so it's out of the way. So I got to start somewhere, and I'm going to make kind of an X here. Here I am right around his penis and stuff, and so the next thing I'm worried about here is trying to make sure I leave evidence of species on part of the carcass. So skin around his man bits here. avoid hairs getting on the meat as best I can. So this is the penis here, and I'm gonna try and work it out so that when I cut them all free, that this piece of penis stays with this ham here, which has also got the evidence of species on it. You don't need all the penis, all the balls. You just need enough to demonstrate that it's evidence of sex. Okay, I'm gonna work my way down his chest here. Now, if you have two people, this is much easier. So I'm just working my way forward on the deer here to, next thing I did is just ran my knife up, right up through here, just breaking his skin all the way up here, so I can peel this back. And I've started his leg here too. I've just done a little slit down there and started it. So this should go fairly easy. Nice when the skin starts to hold itself back. That's nice. Normally you've got your partner pulling on that side. That makes it a little easier. Okay. Now, that's the end right there. Okay. There's one side of his arm there. So I ran my cut up his arm and then right down to meet this cut that comes down here. And then I can start to work this one away. I'm going to carry on my line here, right up his neck. Again, just being real careful to cut from the skin out to try and minimize how much hair gets cut. Go right up to his top of his neck here. Can work my way back here. So get it right to the top here. So I bring a few of these clear plastic garbage bags with me in my pack, and they're perfect for temporarily putting meat into in order to keep it clean, and then you can throw it right into your pack. So I'm just gonna get this all ready to go. So as I go, I'm always making sure that this meat is staying nice and clean. There's a few hairs and a few pieces of grass on it, so take that off right now. So next thing I want to do is I'm going to remove this ham, and the way that I do this is I basically just follow the bone. So if you give him a wiggle here, you'll see where his leg bone fits into his hip socket, which is right here. Okay, so you're taking all the meat off that come with the leg bone, and you're going to basically follow your knife all the way around his pelvis here to free up all that meat. Okay. So you can kind of start by landmarking his back, because that's his spine right there. You can find that. Oh, this guy is fat. You can kind of start cutting away from his spine, and you won't feel like you're cutting much, and you're not really. But it's down around here where you start to make your major cut. You can actually feel the pelvis bone, and you run your finger on there first and then cut second. But don't cut your finger. And you can kind of follow where you want the meat to come off. You can see how I'm just running my finger sort of, oh yeah, there it goes, okay. Okay, run my finger there, okay. Do the same all the way along here. Okay, okay, there. Same thing back here. Okay, once you sort of, feel that pelvis and run my knife right down it. Okay. I'm just going to sort of flip my hip bone this way and follow around the other side. Okay, now this one I want to be real careful here. I like this piece of penis to stay with this ham. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut on the inside here. I work my knife down and around here, and I want to make sure I leave the penis attached to this quarter. So I'm going to make sure I cut. Make sure the penis stays with my cut here. You can see here it's attached to this ham. The penis here is staying with this ham, and I think it's going to work out good. And just keep following that bone, and careful not to cut the penis off. And I just have one little bit back here to go. Okay, so I've just worked my way around and freed it up from the hip bone there. And I'm going to pop it straight into a clean garbage bag. Now, so it's ready to go. So you can look here, and what we've done, we've just skinned away or just deboned the hip bone here. So that first 3 cuts came along here, and we worked our way in here, and then worked our way back this way. It's always a bit tricky. This is a bit of this bone here's got a bit of a knob at the end, so it's kind of hard to feel your way around. But I mean, I sort of hacked my way around, and I literally only lost a couple tablespoons of meat. So really, it's very efficient. Okay, so again, just cleaning up this as I go. So next one, I'm going to take his arm off, and it's pretty straightforward. I just pull it up and you just cut out in behind it. Okay, got him a little bit in the shoulder here, looks like. And you can just see that there's not much in the way of muscle holding on. And then eventually you can just now, lay it somewhere clean. Right there. Now, if there's a whole bunch of bloodshot damage, this isn't too bad. This is an entry wound, so there's a little bit of bloodshot damage there, which we want to get rid of that. But if there's lots of it, you might as well just cut it all out right now. But that's not too bad. We're going to live with that. We'll pack that out. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is take the back strap out. And so how I do that, skin it back as far as I can. And then I'm going to landmark with my fingers again. I'm going to find the spine. Okay, run right along there. Okay, and then I'm going to run my knife just on my side of the spine there. Let's get started somewhere. Okay, there you go. See what I'm trying to do there is just keep the loin muscle. I'm pulling it away from the bone and then just kind of cutting towards the bone. I'll work my way back. Some tough tissue back there. Okay, you go all the way back to the pelvis there. Okay. And then I want to get the other side of it, and if you feel here, you can actually see it right here. This is the muscle here we're taking out, and back here it's some of the more choicer cuts of the animal, so you want to make sure you do a nice job. But you can actually see where, you can actually feel the spot right here where we're going to peel back this loin muscle. At some point you just gotta, you can go ahead and call this the end right here. There it is there. Okay, I'm gonna work my way up here. And again, you can kind of feel the top of the bone here, and it'll all be real obvious when I've got it out of here. You'll see what these muscles all do.
Massive.
Okay, almost there. This pelvis bone kind of goes in on a bit of an angle here, so you got to kind of cut around it like that. The last end of it there. Life is challenging me. Okay, so that's a beautiful deer loin. So we'll go with that, put that straight in the bag. So the next thing I'm going to do is, if you wanted to, you could just run a saw right along here, and you could take this whole all these ribs home with you. We don't have a saw, so we're just going to skin away some of this meat on the outside, which it'll turn into hamburger. You don't want to. I sort of cut away a little bit of the bloodshot meat because I don't want to take that home with us, and I don't really want it to contaminate the rest of my meat. So I'm going to start up here, and I'm just going to run my blade just along the outside of the ribs, and just skin down. This is definitely worthwhile when on an elk or something like that. You get a ton of hamburger. On a deer like this, maybe you'll get a few pounds of hamburger. And why not? Right down to the brisket there. At some point, you just got to cut her free. So a couple pounds of hamburger. The last thing is the neck here. Again, I'm just gonna landmark the middle here, and then I'm just gonna skin my way around. Lots of vertebrae in his neck, so it's really hard to do a nice even job on skinning him out, but all this is hamburger anyway, so it doesn't matter how pretty it comes off. Just do your best to keep it clean. The last piece here is we're just going to grab the tenderloin out of the inside of his cavity here, and it's sort of the opposite muscle to the back strap that we pulled out, so same idea. Cutting it away from that on the back, but just on the inside. That's what it looks like. And all this stuff you don't need to take with you.
Show me a close-up of that when you're done.
That's your deer tenderloin. Maybe we'll eat that tonight. Okay. So we've wrapped up one side here. We've got a bag of meat here. That's probably a good sized pack load for someone to pack home. And we'll flip them over, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay? Okay, that went pretty smoothly. So we've managed to pull off all the meat from both sides. You know, obviously here there's quite a bit of bloodshot here for the exit wounds, and so we haven't been able to really salvage any of the rib meat here. And so, but we've done our best to get a little bit of all of the neck and a little bit of the brisket. The last thing we want to do is we want to pull the head off. And because we're backpacking out, I don't want to take his whole head out. So I'm just going to take the top part of his jaw out, which is a little bit gruesome, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to skin this all back and then basically cut away the hinge underneath it and then pop the top off, basically the top part of his head off. So I just start. This takes a few minutes and it's not a very pleasant job, but you got to do it at some point. So why not do it now when instead of packing all the here. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find his last vertebrae up here that goes into his neck, or yeah, into his skull, I should say. I'm gonna cut all around it. Then you should be able to turn it so that it frees up from the skeleton here. Okay. So that's the skull. Okay, so this guy, his lower jaw is attached to a series of muscles back here in his jaw. So it's not real pretty, but you just got to kind of stick your knife in there and start working around until you cut as many of them as you can. Be careful not to hit his teeth with your knife. Eventually, you just keep working at it. Free up. And it's these things that are attached way up in the back and behind their eyes that make it hard to pull off. Okay. Go ahead and trim as much of this off as you want, but we're ready to get out of here. That's a lot lighter load than packing the whole head, so we'll take that back with us and go from there. Okay, we're almost wrapped up here. The last thing to do is we've got to pack our bags of meat into our backpack. So my favorite pack, this is my 65-liter Serra Torre pack that I use for skiing and backpacking and everything else. It fits me really well and it's perfectly suitable for packing meat. Just like that. And that's half a load there for one guy. One elk, an elk hide, elk hind quarter will just fit into here. And it weighs about 100 pounds. So this will be a fairly easy load because we got 2 pack loads, 2 guys. This pack here is, this is the first time I've used it for meat packing. It's designed to be a day pack and then to expand into a meat pack. So I'm very curious if it's going to work out, and you guys are going to find out. I'm going to put in my bag of meat. way this is supposed to work is this guy's just supposed to come up over top. For the record, I have my serious doubts if this is going to work out, but I'll be impressed if it does. Looks promising. Well, heck, that looks pretty suitable. All right, well, that's good to go. So 2 packs ready to go. We'll strap the antlers to the outside of the pack and pack up the rest of our gear and start working our way back to the truck. Not too bad. All right, we're out of here.